School waste, a topic that is rarely communicated about when people discuss issues in our take-first society. This issue is huge, not just in big schools, but also smaller end schools. According to the study, Digging Deep Through School Trash, a Minnesota school, K-12, wasted an estimated 483,000 pounds of waste a day. That's insane to think. Taking into account an economic and environmental cost, an estimated $274,000 is wasted. Today's discussion will be on what exactly is wasted, the reasons for these materials being wasted, and finally, some potential solutions to these problems. Now we will move on to a skit of what school waste looks like.
I can't wait for lunch today. Ooh, chicken's on the menu, my favorite. Chicken. Ew, gross. Healthy apples and healthy salad. Disgusting. But I have to take it. I'm gonna go eat now. Chicken. I love chicken. I'm full now. I'm gonna throw out all my food. I have too much food I could not eat. Ooh-wee. I'm throwing out all the healthy food because healthy food is gross. Back to class now. Yay!
To start off, the materials that are being wasted in the schools. To get some solutions to these problems, we need to know what's being wasted. According to the research, Digging Through School Trash, the most commonly wasted material is food, making up about 23.9% of all school-wide waste. The next closest material being wasted is recyclable paper, including cardboard, white office paper, and mixed color paper, at 23.5%. This is insane that schools are wasting this much stuff. Another study titled Why Reducing Food Waste in School Meal Programs Matters stated that 60% of fresh vegetables and 40% of fresh fruits are being thrown away at breakfast and lunch lines. A research essay by the name of Methods and Challenges Related to Implementing New School-Wide Lunch Program Regulations in Indiana voiced that 75% of school-identified vegetables is the most commonly disregarded food group in the cafeteria. The study, food auditing at 3 Florida schools, said that organic food, milk, and paper waste contribute to 81.5% of overall student waste. Clearly, food waste is not just a problem in one state. Now Aubrey will talk about the next topic.
Some reasons for overabundance of school-wide waste, narrowing the focus of on the lunchroom. According to the article, it's just so much waste. Qualitative investigation of food waste in the Universal Free School Breakfast Program. In some schools, durations of breakfast and lunch are not nearly long. In some schools, lunch period is only 10 minutes, but it varies from class to class. Teachers say this is not a long enough duration. A study used earlier, Why Reducing Food Waste in School Meal Programs Matters, said that extending lunch by 10 minutes, schools could expect to reduce food waste by 30%. In this informative article called It's Just So Much Waste, a qualitative investigation of food waste in a Universal Free School Breakfast Program, they give some input on reasons for waste and categorize them into an overarching categories. One is food service policies. A child could be forced to take a food item as a result of regulations, even if they don't like said item. A child once said, "Sometimes because I don't really like it, like if I don't like the food, but I still grab it to drink my milk." Many schools were also forced to throw out food because the food expired. A teacher said that once a kid found an expired food item, and it caused a chain reaction for all the other kids to throw away their food in disgust, even if it wasn't expired. This leads into the next reason, child-related. Some children said they wasted simply because they were too full. Some parents even said they let their kid eat at both home and school, which can lead to kids feeling full. Another child-related issue was put into two main categories, taste preferences and the dislike of certain food groups. One parent went as far to say that kids waste food in the lunchroom caused by the repulsive taste, saying, "Because the food not good, kids don't want to eat it." An additional point for waste in the classroom was coordination or lack thereof. A lack of communication between teachers and lunchroom personnel lead to a supply that exceeding the expected demands for the day. Another factor that people didn't take into account was the size and material of the plates. A group of researchers decided to research this, and their findings were interesting. The article, Why Reducing Food Waste in School Meal Programs Matters, discovered that when kids used disposable plates, they on average wasted more food than when they used permanent plates. Another bonus to using permanent plates was kids took more food. They can be a double-edged sword. This meaning that it can lead to kids eating healthier food, but it can also lead to kids waste more food for obvious reasons.
After being informed on what is wasted and some probable causes of such waste, the focus will shift to some way to prevent this waste. People have contemplated using wasted food for compost and recycling programs to combat waste. A study titled Digging Deep Through School Trash showed that over 78% of school waste could be diverted from the trash to organics, compositing, and containing in paper recycling collection programs. Playing off this, the article already used, titled It's Just So Much Waste, a quantitative investigation of food waste in a universal free school breakfast program, proclaimed that another way to prevent waste is to put out a collection bin so kids can put the food they don't want and eat the food they do. One teacher said this was an effective way to combat waste, but a principal of this school said that it can be hard due to regulations. Even if this was a problem, maybe teachers could take this food so the kids could eat the food later in class. If regulations got in the way too much of the teachers taking the food bins for later, the schools could donate the food for productive purposes, such as giving it to families in need or using it for compost, like earlier stated. Even though this seems like a good idea, it's not the most popular way to prevent waste due to the fact that government regulation would most likely get in the way of the schools giving the food away. If these aren't achievable, maybe the school could encourage kids to bring lunch from home. This way, they could get the food they like and thus reduce waste. A study, Food Waste Auditing at 3 Florida Schools, said that lunch brought from home results in less food waste from lunchrooms. An additional way to prevent food waste in schools is to look at what private schools do. The study showed that private schools who got food from off-campus generate half the food waste than two public schools. This is due to the fact that the off-campus vendors can give better quality food than the government-restricted schools can. Public schools also have more waste than private schools because of the preparation of the food. Even though private schools generate more food than public schools, they have less waste. Finally, the last way to prevent waste is to streamline how easy it is to eat the food and extend lunch period. One teacher said to combat waste, she cut every single piece of fruit because the kids would eat it due to the fact that it was easier to eat. The study, Nutritional, Economic, Environmental Costs of Milk Waste in a Classroom School Breakfast Program, found that milk offered at school breakfast programs, a normal size milk was wasted 45% of the time, whereas a smaller size milk was wasted only 26% of the time. A principal had already thinking of this and said, I'm wondering, what if they half-size the milk? Because they are, the students, not utilizing it all. This method could work, but it runs into the same issues as the recycling bins. Government regulation might prevent the schools from serving a smaller size milk in the classroom. In conclusion, the research presented in this Minecraft story told the sad story of waste in the school system in the United States. A multitude of different materials are wasted in the school system, such as fruit, vegetables, milk, and paper. As earlier stated, schools waste an average of over half a pound per day, mind-boggling. After learning of what is wasted, the focus was shifted to some believed reasons for this waste. These reasons varied from time constraints to kids not liking the food. After this, the focus was then shifted to some solutions. Solutions such as putting out food bins for later use or recycling the wasted food were thought of. In total, this is a huge problem in America, and we need to be the ones to terminate such actions. Together, we can end government waste, and this great community once and for all.
Okay, we done, boy.
And now, time for an interview. I am a student who is wanting to learn. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, I am a student who is wanting to learn about waste in the lunchroom. Could you please help me? Sure. So, have you ever noticed kids wasting food at breakfast and lunch?
Yes, of course I have.
Well, why do you think this is?
Because the state is pushing them to have to take fruits and vegetables.
That's interesting. Could you think of some solutions to this?
Yes, exemption for whole grain, and just talking to the state to get them to realize small schools don't have money or resources. Also, students understanding what they have to take and what they don't have to. They have choices.
That's awesome. I never realized I had so much choice when I was at the breakfast and lunch line. So, I know you kind of talked about whole grain, but what are some policies that could cause kids to waste?
Having to have the fruits and vegetables.
That's interesting. I know I don't like my fruits and vegetables. If you could change some of these policies, would you? If yes, then what would you change?
Yes, absolutely. It goes back to like having the kids understand what they're doing. Just changing how it's doing, because I have to go by week and have to have certain colors, certain beans, and starchy and non-starchy things in each week. I do that every week.
Huh. It's also kind of weird that in small schools we only have like 3 people to do the lunch for the whole week. But big schools they have specialists. Is that true?
Yes, it's very hard because big schools have several people to help plan lunches, but small schools like Kodak, they just have a few people to try and figure it out.
Do you think it could also contribute that we're such a small school here that off campus, that there's no place to go off campus because we're not allowed to go off campus?
Oh, for sure. Big public school or private schools have lunches off campus and they don't produce near as much waste.
Huh. That is super cool. Well, thank you for your time, Mrs. Lunch Lady. Goodbye. And that's our presentation on school waste.
Yeah.
Man, I sure did learn a lot, didn't you? I know I did.
I definitely learned a
This
lot.
is like, yeah, man. Well, woo wee.
So much fun.
Yeah. School's out for summer. Yeah. Let's go.
Oh man, I can't wait to get something to eat. I want food. Oh, milk. Oh, chicken. Oh, she didn't bring out the chicken.
Alright, we go restart. That looked all good at first. Okay, come back in and are ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh man, I can't wait to eat some food. Ooh.
He says the food in his hand. Aubrey! He's kidding. Go back. Get the food out of your freaking hand. Okay. Alright, go.
Oh man, I can't wait to get some food. I'm so hungry. Oh, chicken. I love me some chicken. Ooh. Some apples. Oh, gross. Healthy food. Salad. Time to go sit down. Chicken. I love chicken. Apples. Okay. Time to go back to class. I don't want to eat this healthy food.
Now Aubrey will tell you some reason. Okay, hey. Next. Oh man.
Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus, but as it turns out, that might be what you get. A 4chaner uploaded a photo anonymously to the site showcasing his feet in a plastic bin of lettuce with the statement, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." Admittedly, he had shoes on, but that's even worse.
Yeah. Even if this was a problem,
Creepers! Oh my God! Creepers!